Good morning, good morning, good morning, everybody. Welcome to another session here for the New York. This is the July 7th. What we're looking at right now is the potential of price to continue moving bullish till 134,550, even up to like 134,600. I think we're gonna get there today. Um, just waiting for this candle to close. The 15-minute candle is about to close. The 30-minute candle is about to close. So I'm just kind of gonna wait for that. Let's take a look here. Yeah, there is some range. There is some range here to the left, up to like 570, 600. So let's see. Let's see how this closes. The 30-minute candle. Be very, very interesting. All right. Yeah, I guess it's clear skies here today. No news. No news to look into. Let's take a look here. Nothing going on. Absolutely nothing. We're good to go today. There's no news. I mean, all yellow folders. Nothing really important to look at. Oh, gold is also coming down. Gold is coming down to support. 1774. All right, just waiting for this candle to close here. Man, if someone's taking buys over here, I know they look good, but I mean, you just gotta wait for candles to close. Really, at the end of the day, that's the whole idea. You have to wait for the candles to close. If you don't wait and plan, then you get banged. You know, like what happened to Monty. You guys remember what happened to Monty? Monty didn't plan and he got banged. How come I stopped trading gold? I stopped trading gold when the spreads went really high on gold, so I stopped. Um, and then that was it. How important is fundamental analysis? Fundamental analysis is important. I mean, you have to keep them in the back of your mind. I never use fundamental analysis to see where price is going to go. It's my style of trading is all 100% technicals. 100% technicals. Like I keep them in the back of my mind, but other than that, that's about it. Hey, isn't there 15-minute resistance there? Maybe a 15-minute close over resistance confirmation for buys. Yeah, there's resistance. That's why I'm kind of like not into buys right now. Just kind of waiting because see this 15-minute candle is closing the way it is, and I mean if the next candle starts breaking the high of the 15-minute, I think that would be a good opportunity to take buys. But at the same time, there are all these wicks here to the left, right? There's all this problem here to the left. So it's going to be very tricky. The way it's closing right now, I'm not into buys at all because it's closing bearish. See the 15-minute candle close bearish, so it's creating like this minor resistance right over here. Right? It's creating this oh, what does this do? Okay, this removes all drawing tools. Okay, I see. All right, so let's do this. Let's just do fresh analysis here, right? Let's start with the daily. Daily's coming up. Daily's got the wick to fill over here. Then obviously we can say, okay, daily's going to fill the wick. Okay, perfect. But for daily to fill the wick, it needs to create some sort of support. And now when we're looking on the 4 hour, 4 hour basically created a support down at 134. It's approaching a resistance and this resistance is all the way up here at 134,677, right? Perfect. We have another zone down over here around 134,470. So let's go down to the 1 hour time frame. Looking at the 1 hour time frame, this 1 hour candle hasn't really moved anywhere. It's basically, this is a support formed. It's basically formed a resistance where candles printed side by side. So now we need a support forming on the smaller time frame to justify the move up on this candle. So when we go to 30 minute, looking at the 30 minute, the 30-minute candle closed bullish. It's closing above kind of like this area, making some sort of a support over here. Let's take a look at the 15 minute. 15 minute is also creating support. I think a good entry for buys would be once this 15 minute breaks the high of the previous 15 minute. You can have a stop down over here and anticipate price to continue all the way up to 134,630. Yeah, I think that would be a very, very good entry. But I mean, if the small time frames they start making bearish candles, that may in turn flip the overall high time frame as well. So you got to be cautious right over here. But if we start breaking below 134,400, then there's a very high chance we may continue down back towards 134,250. So you'll have to wait for this area to break.
I got caught in that range last night. Excuse me.
Yeah, there's a lot of range over here. See, if you do start moving up from here, you have these wicks. These wicks make me a little uncomfy because like these wicks mean rejection. The price came up over here before and then it started to reject. So which is why you need a stronger confirmation, and stronger confirmation is going to be once you have this candle breaking the high of the previous ones. And I think that would be a much stronger confirmation to say that now price may continue going up. Okay, I entered a buy as it broke the high of the previous candle. And now we're targeting 134,600. Now if I look at the 30 minute as well, 30 minute is also like, moving forward. Make sure the previous one is also bullish there. So I think it should continue moving up now. GJ is in a summer mode. Yes, GJ is really in summer mode. Alright, let's take a look at this chart here. This is GJ, 30 minute, moving bullish. Yeah, I think this could work. 4-hour trend is bullish, looking for buys, no trading inside the consolidation zone, waiting for price to retest further. Yeah, I think it should continue moving up. The only thing now, what I'm thinking is to protect the downside. Do you always set partial stop loss to break even once price is in profit? Yeah, so basically now what we're looking at, now I'm just looking at the downside, right? Like what's going to be my downside? My downside is going to be once price starts coming down and it starts closing bearish in this area. At that point, I'll be willing to close maybe like, partial of position. But for the most part, I think we should continue moving bullish. Been following you for a while on Insta and just started checking your YouTube out. How can I get into your Telegram chat? I don't have Telegram chat. Ooh, nice. Look at that move. Beautiful. What is your spread? My spread is 1.5, 1.6, 1.5. From this stage, I think it's running pretty good, pretty nice. We should be hitting around 570, 560. Should get there. All right, so right here, I'm securing some profits right over here. Making sure I secure profits here. Securing profits here, putting stops to break even because we had a stress-free trade today. The price broke the high, and as I mentioned, it took the entries as it broke the high, and you know now when we're looking left on the 30-minute time frame, you see that we're approaching these wicks over here. So once price reaches the area where there are wicks here to the left, this is where price rejected before. So the reason I'm securing over here is because I'm not sure whether price will go right through this area or it's going to start rejecting this area here again. So which is why I'm securing profits and I'm putting stops at break even. Yeah, I think it was a pretty simple trade here.
Nice cover, bro.
Yeah, that was textbook.
Yeah.
Basically, same setup yesterday. Same exact trade I took off 30 minutes yesterday. We've been scammed.
What time does the New York session open? It opens at 8 a.m. 8 a.m. Eastern. I'm sorry I'm new, but are you trading break and retest on a 15-minute chart? No, this was the impulse entry once this candle broke the high of the previous candle. In this scenario, how was able to set a take profit with all those rejection to the left? The take profit was around like 9-10 pips basically, because like you have to measure the range, and if you measure the range, you're like, okay, we have clean candles, but at the same time there's all this wicking area here to the left. So this is the area where candles rejected before, so if I measure this range, this range was basically like, let's say from here, this range was around 13, 14 pips. So out of 13, 14 pips, I think getting out with like 8, 9 pips, I mean, like, that was still important because we don't know whether price will reject this or continue moving up. So it's better to be safe. Like if you wanna leave a runner running, make sure your position is in stop loss is at break even and you let it go. Ooh, someone got scammed by $100, made $100 today. Nice. Beautiful, beautiful trade. Do you have specific hours when you trade Asia session as well as NY? No, Asian session is basically done at 6:30 p.m. Eastern. All right. Well, if my runner stays in, I think we can continue on towards 134,600. Ooh, wow, look at that. Look at those fluctuations over there. If it breaks above 134,600, do you see a potential move to 134,900? Yeah, I see a move to 135,500 if it breaks above 134,600. So the YouTube, if you guys like this trade, if you guys took this trade and made profit, just smash the like button so that it goes home. Smash it so it goes home. What's your opinion on stocks? I think stocks are pretty good, but if it works for people, it works for people. To me, when I looked at stocks, it was like a lot of information. Like, I had to go through a lot of information, like companies, informations, and I just wasn't into it at all.
Looking at US 30 for our US 30 folks. Got a couple of notes that we want to make note of. So the futures market right now, we're down about 270 points. That was from yesterday's rally. So we rallied actually pretty hard yesterday. So I think buys worked out well for everybody. There's a support at 26,000 basically that I'm watching right now. If we do break that support, I do expect us going down to about 25,800 or 867. So what I think we have to be mindful of is the fact that the futures market was 300 points in the negative, but it's slowly creeping back into positive territory. And I don't mean like fully positive, but it's losing momentum in the negative territory. So what I'll be doing is I'll be watching this more so around 9:30 to see the reaction, and then also around 10 o'clock. So US 30, if we do break below 26,000, expect us to go down to 25,800. But at this point, it seems like we may rebound. And if we do get back into positive territory, expect the move back up to like 26,300. So keep that in mind. If you're looking to trade US 30, today may be a choppy day just because of the way the futures markets are reacting. And this is a day where when you look at the current futures market and you see that we're at 257 points in the negative or the red, it's not really strong enough to give us a full directional bias. What we want is we want those bigger moves. So yesterday we had a really big spread in terms of the futures market. So we were like up plus 400, plus 500 points. If we do pull back today and we do start to dip, like I said, just watch. We have to break 26,000 before anything significant. And what I mean by 26,000 breaking is and this is the biggest thing that people have to be aware of, is this area over here. It can't just be a candle that does this. We need a rejection and we need a drive further down. So we need something that looks like this in this area here, so we can really get away from that, because you do have issues over here, here, and over here. So with that being said, what I can do to plan out my trade is I can draw this as my zone right here. This could be my zone. And I know that at any given point, this information here, we could dip down to this lowest level here. So you have to be careful that you don't get caught in that, where it looks like it's going to drop, but we don't have a rejection. So what I want to see is I want to see rejection out of this area here, so that we can start to move further down right over to this area here. Now, this is not a lot of not a lot movement, but I mean, when you're trading US 30, 100-point move, that's actually pretty significant. Once again, if we don't break this area here, then simply we're moving right back up right to here, and then eventually right back up to the 300th level. So today, you may find that with US 30, it might be a little difficult to trade, just because the futures market is constantly changing and it looks like it's starting to retrace out of the red. So, you know, if you keep up to date with the futures market and you look at what's happening, you can see that it's fluctuating between 250 points to 260 points. We need a significant move in either direction to give us the overall move for the indice. So keep that in mind. This is something that you have to watch as a trader, that if you are trading this indice, that you don't get caught in this whipsaw where the markets are still trying to create an overall trend or an overall decision on where they want to go, and you're taking a sell just based on the bias of, well, the futures market is down, so that means we have to go down. That's not necessarily true. If the futures market starts to recover, then US 30 will start to move up, even if it's in negative territory. So you have to keep that in mind. So really watch where we are at key levels, and I think 26,000 is a very key level for an indice because it's a round number. So if we don't break 26,000, expect us to move to the upside. But if we do break 26,000, I can see us going all the way from 26,000 all the way to 25,800, and then eventually 25,600. So keep that in mind. Let the market play out. With US 30 now, I've really shifted to moving to trading this around the 9:30, 10 a.m. Eastern hour. To really just grab the full move. I found that trading it between 6:30 and 9 was a little bit difficult. I mean, you did catch the opportunities, but I found that at 9:30, 10 a.m., you caught the majority of the move anyways. Whatever came through between 6 and 9 was usually replayed at 9:30 to 11. So if you're looking for that afterwards, once Raja stops streaming, you might find that you want to jump into US 30. You can jump into that after the stream is over and really manage your trade at that point. You'll get the best volume at the 9:30 open, let it settle, and then start attacking it at around 10 a.m., 10:30. You'll get some really nice moves with no drawdown, simple pushes.
NYC open.
Yeah, I don't want to say it, but that's partially the reasons I've been sleeping in, because if I'm trading US 30, nothing's happening at 6:30 a.m. So I just took a couple extra hours sleep.
Yeah.
I was like, oh, Raja's got it. Raja knows how to manage his stream. He doesn't need an extra voice there. I'll sleep in. And then I was like, oh, this is so nice. I could get up at 9:15 and start trading.
Yeah, later on. See, now this, if this forms support, I think it's gonna continue up to retest.
Yes.
26,140.
Yes. And that's a good thing about US 30 is it's very technical in nature in terms of price action. Like if it rejects an area, it rejects it hard. It's actually moving that direction. So that's really the good part about US 30. But it's making sure you don't get caught in a whipsaw, right? Like you can see that this hour candle was bullish and now it's basically almost going bearish again. So you just don't want to get caught in those. And that's where, because we're not in a very strong direction one way or the other, like I was saying earlier, it just becomes difficult to trade this, right? You would have had to trade off the 5-minute and 15-minute, and then you would have gotten stopped out again. So it's just, sometimes it's better just to wait till the New York Stock Exchange open and then grab it as it trends throughout the rest of the day.
Let's take a look at this chart here. If price pushes past resistance, we'll enter a breakout with 30-minute above. Yeah, like a break above here, buys would be good because you have these clean candle, you have this resistance zone, so it's going to be a very highly probable it's going to come up there. That's pretty good. Sells, I think better sells will be below this blue area. Plus, also you got to see how much range we have. Let's take a look at that. Let's go to 30-minute. Let's remove everything. So we have a resistance right here, 121,600. You have a minor resistance right over here that you're targeting. Now this is a small range. This is like 12 pips, 13 pip range. You can still get it, but keep an eye that's a small range, kind of like the range we had in GJ right over here, looking left, right? Looking left, like we didn't have enough range, so you can still squeeze something out of it. So, but you'll have to be careful in that aspect. Looking on the 1 hour, I mean, if we do break below this area, it would be much better. But then, if you're looking for sells here, if we do get rejections, I think this could be a better play here as well. This is like a 20 pip range. Like if price forms like a resistance and starts breaking the lows, then it's very likely it's going to come down over here. Let me see what that price is. That is 121. Yeah, 121, 300, even 320. My GJ buys just came into the stream. Okay, let's take a look here. This is secured 8 pips here, leaving a runner. Okay, perfect. Runner stopped out. Oh, too bad. Yeah, it's too bad. Do you take steroids? No. Just waiting for this pandemic to end to see you at boot camp. Yeah, the pandemic is gonna end pretty soon. What about gold? Gold, I think you need to send a chart on gold so that we can take a look at your gold. And if you look at your JPY, it just did a bad thing. Where it will go up after all. If you guys know TikTok, you would know that song. Yeah, I guess it's gonna come up here to fill the wick on the 15-minute for sure. TikTok's getting banned. Yeah, that's I don't know. I think they're too paranoid about the Chinese listening, and it doesn't really matter. Are you done for the day? Probably. I just have a runner running right now. I have a position open running. What's this chart? Someone sent this chart, and I don't know what to do with this chart. This chart is nothing. There's no labeling. There's nothing on this chart. The 30-minute candle is about to close on your JPY. It's closing above. If it closes above 121, 470, 475, then you could say we can continue moving bullish. Why does that thing show up every time? Let's take a look at the 1 hour. 1 hour is also going to close bullish, so that's why waiting for it to close is really, really important. Ooh, I guess my run is going to get stopped out over here. All right, waiting for confirmations. Your USD sells below this area. Yes, looks good, looks good. I think what you have over here is you have like a minor support thing going on here, right here. So I think sells below this area would work perfect. So it's pretty good. It's good analysis. But also, I think when people are mapping out trades, map out both sides, map out the buys and the sells. Because if price doesn't go the way you wanted it to go and it goes the opposite way, at least you're going to be ready. At least you're going to know, okay, why it's moving the opposite way. So the more you do it, the better you're going to get it. And let's say your bias is sells, and then you've also mapped out the buys. If you do it long enough, slowly what you're doing is you're building up confidence in taking the opposite trade if your bias is not basically playing out.
Yeah, I think the important thing too is people have to just relax with the ego of being right in one direction, like being able to say, well, I knew it was going this way. Um, there's a lot of times where, yes, we know it's going that way and it does happen, but the times that it doesn't, it allows you to have that flexibility. And as a human being, the more scenarios you plan for, the easier it is for you to execute. The biggest question that I get from a lot of new traders is, how do I hold my trades longer? How do I execute? How do I become consistent? It's planning, and it's being able to put yourself in multiple scenarios. So when a scenario starts to evolve or starts to happen, you're comfortable in that market movement. It's not an ego thing to say that you have one direction, and that you have to stick with that direction. That's the biggest crutch you can put yourself under, is saying, well, I think that gold is going to 2000, so all I'm going to do is I'm just going to be buying gold forever, and I don't care if it drops back down to 1500 because I know it's going to 2000. That's an ego call, or that's an ego analysis. The idea is, look at the ranges that we see, or the way we map this out, and take the trade that has the highest probability of setting up, not what your ego is telling you, or just so that you could show something flashy to your friends or someone on social media. Take the trade that has the most likely outcome. And I think you're going to find that trading becomes a lot easier, and you're able to plan effectively, but more importantly, you're able to execute, because what you've done is you've removed that ego, and you've said to yourself, hey, I thought GJ was going up to 137, but if it's going down to 133 or 132, well, I'm going to take sells at this point. And that allows you to objectively take positions without holding bias, and then just sitting there stuck going, well, I can't believe that we're not going up. I thought we were going up. This should be going up. Look at the rejection over here. It doesn't matter about that. Plan your trades accordingly. Give yourself multiple options. And when one of those options appears, execute on that. And you'll find that you'll have a very high probability, or a high win rate, because of the fact that you're executing just on what the market is doing, and you're not really holding yourself to a bias to say that, hey, if this doesn't happen, then the market's wrong. The market's never wrong. So get used to it. Just allow yourself to be free and fluid, and the more fluid you are, the better chance you have of winning trades, but more importantly, you're able to execute with more confidence.
Wow, look at this thing. This thing is still running up over here. Ooh, look at that move. So nice. We're approaching 590. We're approaching 134, 600. What a trade here. What a beautiful move here. Ladies and gentlemen, first thing in the morning, we had a winning trade. Stress-free trading. Brought to you by Raja Banks and the Forex family team. I think at this time, at this point, I think you should be securing profits. My runner actually got stopped out. I re-entered at 134.489 because I thought it's going to still continue going up to fill the wick.
Yeah, I think you should try and secure a lot of profit here because you're at the top of that range, and with the new 7 a.m. hour, we could whip all the way back. So just keep that in mind. But this will be good. If this support actually holds right over here, if we actually hold support over here, wow, that'll be a nice move all the way back up to here. So you might get a range in here, but for people that took trades down over here, you have nothing to worry about now. That's the advantage of having this style candle that breaks out. When a new support is created moving to the right, like this, and then we're moving up again, this area over here, you as a trader, you don't have to worry about. You can just let it bounce. But now, if you're looking to enter a position, gets scary because now you don't know where support's being formed to try and take buys. So if you're going to look to take buys, you have to put them above here, but you have to manage a huge stop loss over here.
Yeah, like entering right now is going to be very, very bad. I mean, your
Yeah.
entries were somewhere down over here, but that's about it.
What's the reason for a new hour candle to whip back? Essentially, this is normal market movement. So once you've studied, I guess, GJ in this instance, you start to look at the nuances of the pair. And if you look at the hour charts through the last like 100 hours, you'll see there's always a wick either to the upside or the downside. And this is what's happening. So the fact that we know that that's a high probability of happening, it's one of the reasons why I try and tell people to secure profits before the hour close, just because of the fact that we do get a lot of movement in the first hour that may pull all the way back. But with that being said, once support's created on the hourly, you might find that you can now hold your runner and let it move at that point. But you have to understand that there's always going to be whips and wicks created with GJ, because I mean we can see in multiple instances there's wicks everywhere. So this is something that you write down on your journal or you write down in your trading plan, that you have to understand that GJ has a lot of zones that it creates, minor and major zones. So how do we adapt to that? We probably have to make sure that we're really on top of our hour closes, or just before a major candle closes, we're really on top of that, securing profits, because at that point it can whip down at any given time and like go back to the original entry. That's just something that I've noticed over the years trading, and that's a nuance or a characteristic of the pair that I'm trading. I have to write that down and I have to be aware of that. Does it hurt your profits? Sometimes, because GJ could continue to move up and you've secured profits and closed, and then the next hour candle just continues to move forward. But there are instances where you have a candle, we can just look at, if you look at other candles here on the chart, where, the first candle goes all the way up and then the next candle goes all the way down. So just keep that in mind and look at the highest probability for your trades.
All right, let's take a look at this. US 30 analysis coming in. US 30, waiting or it to form a minor resistance and drop. Okay, that makes sense. You're waiting for ourselves over here. We'll have to wait a little bit. Yeah, I think that was a beautiful move here. Beautiful move. Kind of like I want to take entries around 134, 441, but then I was like, yeah, I don't know, like the 15 minutes still making this resistance, so I'm not sure. Gotta wait for confirmation. So this was a great confirmation when it broke the high over here. That was beautiful. See, whenever I win a trade, I just look at that. I'm like, wow, man, look at that. This move was so nice. But when I lose a trade, I always look to see how could I have taken the winning move. instead of saying, oh, another losing trade. No, like when you say, oh, just another losing trade, that's like you're crying and whining. You got to look at the loss and be like, okay, if someone took sells here based on this 15 minute, you just have to look back and say that, okay, how could I have taken a winning trade? Or let's say if you had sells in the Asian session yesterday, then you can look at that and say, oh, well, I guess the candles were all bullish, so price had to move up, instead of taking sells when candles were bullish, basically. I saw in your IG story about FTMO, there are problems with them to withdraw, just pass the challenge of the verification. Oh, nice, nice. Yeah, like, like some people can do withdrawals and, so that's the thing, because when this whole thing was going on, the IG was popping with FTMO withdrawals. But I guess when I raised a question, people started sending me withdrawals and automatically, so I guess that's pretty good. It's really good when people make money, like it's nothing bad about that. People are giving me likes now for me calling out this trade. Hope you guys made profits. Waiting for GJ buys. Let's take a look at this. More buys. Where were these entries taken? Oh, okay. Previous exhaustion area over here. Candle closed above, waiting for support or higher low to form for long. Yeah, that makes sense. Like if you're waiting for price to kind of like create a support around 134,500 for it to continue moving bullish, that does make sense. Any reason you waited on the 15-minute to break bearish high? Yeah, more confirmation. I wanted more confirmation. It was my 6th minute, no, actually my 6th minute on the stream, so I wanted to have much more confirmation than to just enter a trade as soon as I came through the charts. Uncle Ted, when the magic keys will be shipped out. There's like someone asking me, hey Raja, where's my trader's domain withdrawal?
Yeah, I was about to say, yeah, well, process those withdrawals already, jeez. Like, come on.
Can you take a look at this chart? Alright, let's take a look at this chart. Ooh, your JPY is breaking up over here slowly. On the 15-minute as well. Yeah, I guess now, if it's starting to break up, you can kind of say that, okay, we're forming a support down over here. Kind of like adjust this area. Also in the 15-minute. I mean, it was pretty tricky, to be honest. Let's take a look at this chart. We're approaching 134,600 on GJ here as well. What's this? Ooh, come down, go up, come down, go up, and then you take a buy over here to go up. Okay, so your buys are at 134,650, so this is going to be a little bit of waiting involved. Do you see any setups for another buy above the previous candle? Well, I mean, you can take a buy here, 134,550. I mean, you could have taken a buy here, but then your stop would have been way down over here. Whenever you guys see a big move like this, always look to see where would your perfect buy position would have been. If your buy is somewhere over here, then that's not a good buy position. A good buy position should have been somewhere over here, which obviously we had no confirmations, or somewhere over here where my buy position was, where we have some sort of a confirmation. Or you can look at the 30-minute and say, well, we were bullish candle and maybe a buy could have been right here. So these are places where your buy could have been. If your buys are somewhere in the middle of the candle, those are bad late entries. That's something you have to work on. You always have to work on, whenever you see a big move, always aim to see how could I have taken that big candle up? Because, hey, some guy took that big candle move up. So what was there that he saw that I didn't see? So when you start to do some backtracking, you start to see those things and then you start executing on them. Do you always put same dollar amount per pip for each trade? No. On this one, I put like 7 lots. I have a runner doing its thing. Oh, nice. Oh, from London session. That's beautiful. I didn't took that trade because I was not sure about the rejection candles on the left, but from now on it happens, I'll take it. Yeah, that's good. That's good. You know, because now you're developing intuition on these trades and on these moves, so that's pretty good. For the people like me that started late today, do you know what triggered this big move? It was basically momentum. I mean, if you look on the 4 hour, 4 hours moving up, daily had like the wick to fill here, which we came on the start, and it said that it might fill the wick right over here. And looking on the 1 hour, 1 hour was consolidating, forming side by side, and this was trying to move up now. If we were looking for price to continue moving up, you need confirmations on the smaller time frame. So we went to the 30-minute chart. 30-minute was making bullish candles but needed some more confirmation, so I jumped to the 15-minute chart. And when I jumped to the 15-minute chart, I saw that, okay, well, I'm going to enter once this 15-minute breaks the high of the previous one, and my stops would be below this previous candle. And yeah, that was basically it. And then price moved up. Perfect. But at the same time, I was always thinking about what will I do if price comes down or if price starts going bearish. You know, I'm never thinking about how much I'm making when a price comes into profit, but because like once price goes in profit, I'm good. You know, at that point, I can either get out with break even or profits, right? But when price goes in negative, that's something you have to look out for, you know, because when price moving in negative, then you start planning on how much you want to lose, you know, or how much you want to, like, you know, make sure you don't lose. So that's something very important when price goes back in drawdown. So if you look right here, we've approached 134,600, which is a very good target there that's reached. Now the ultimate target is going to be 134,640, 650. Your JPY 30-minute break of the 15-minute. Okay, stops below the 30-minute target resistance here. Yeah, I think this could work out. Looking on the 30-minute here, you have a stop. Yeah, I mean your stops are down here. You're entering up over here, so it could make sense. But at the same time, I think now when you look at your entry, if your entry was at the break of the high over here, I think you could have had a better entry right here. But that would have been anticipating that price will break the high. Because, you know, at that point, you could have had like a smaller stop loss right over here. You know, so these are little things which we see and which we kind of like, you know, work on as we go along. So, but still good. I still think we should continue up towards, you know, 570, 580. But always look to see that what will you do if price starts going in drawdown? You know, like how will you manage that trade? How will you close partial positions? That's something very important. Always limiting your downside. Hey, I'm a beginner trader and don't want to take impulsive trades. Any tips how I still can catch this move without a retest? Nope. There's no way. There's no way at all. I used to miss these moves all the time. Trust me, man. I used to miss these moves all the time. I would always wait for retests, and something like GJ, it doesn't do retest sometimes, you know, and I would always miss the moves. And then I would say, okay, how could I have caught this move? So then I was like, okay, perfect. Maybe a break of the high. Then I start to make scenarios in my head that, okay, maybe this is how I could have caught this move. And if you look right now, price is still moving forward. I think we will continue to 134,650. Ooh, Alex shared the news here. Was this Brexit news? Brexit news. Oh, wow, look at that, man. Holy, 134,650 is smashed. Price is leaving the screen. Oh, wow, look at that. Oh, we've left the screen. We've left the screen. It is gone. Oh, man, if you guys held this trade. Oh, god damn, Brexit. This was a serious Brexit move. This is awesome. What a trade. Wow. Wish I held all my positions. I would have made at least 6,000, but I didn't.
We have a runner, right?
No, I closed everything.
Oh, damn. It looks like you're still in there.
Oh, no, I just kept it. Wow, crazy. Man, amazing.
Yeah, that was a nice call.
Man, YouTube. Oh, we have 2 dislikes on YouTube. That's amazing. That is crazy. Normally we have like 10, 11 dislikes. Looks like all the other guys took these buys too.
Yeah, I think you're gonna probably have issues now around, I think probably close to 134,875. I think that's where we'll probably top out.
Yeah. Wow, let's take a look here. Man, oh man, daily wick also filled.
Yeah. So that was sort of the top of that level. If we do break above this daily, I mean, I expect us, we could probably jump right back like 134,980, 135 total.
Now can we expect the bullish candle? How many bullish candles do you need now? More? Wow, this was a 30 pip move here. Ooh, Josh also had a nice running trade over here. Looks like Josh has a nice big 4K monitor. Look at the size of this chart. Well, everybody, if you caught this trade, this was a great example of stress-free trading. Thank you.
Very nice, very nice.
Beautiful. Looks like US 30 is gonna do some sort of a retracement here, jumping from the support. Oh wow, man, we scammed a lot of people here today. Scammed a lot of people in taking buys on GPJPY.
How many people?
I don't know, almost like 14 people didn't get scammed because they disliked the stream, but 447 people, they correctly got scammed, and perfect. Scam-free trading.
Oh, somebody's gonna report you for scamming. Damn.
Yeah, that's fine. Your JPY is also running up over here. It's pretty good. Can we still do a buy? See, now doing a buy right now will be very risky. I think now in hindsight, looking back to the 5-minute chart, someone mentioned they took buys based on a 5-minute support. I think this was a support that they were talking about. Price came up, started to make support, and then started making higher highs, and boom.
I mean, for people trying to look for an entry here, this is a example of chasing a trade, because this is your 5-minute candle here. You have to ask yourself now, where are you in the market, right? So it's 7:20, right? 8 a.m. is your new market open, right? The North American Stock Exchange. And we just had this big impulse move up. So how can we find entries here? You can't, because you don't know where support is going to be held, especially on a 5-minute candle, but also at the same time too. Now this is the 15-minute candle. Like where are we going? So what I would rather see is, I rather see something that looks like this, right? Because we talked about this in the last 15-minute candle. We said, hey, if support's being created, we can take buys above here to go to this level. We specifically said that because the rejection gives you that push up. Now that we have a candle with no wick, there's more than likely a chance that top side rejection will exist. And now we're going to have to wait for something to form over here, a rejection here, something looks like this, to then fill this wick. But then keep in mind, where are we with the daily and our 4-hour time frames? This area here can be a resistance level for a higher time frame. So with that being said, if we have resistance at a higher time frame, does it make sense for us to try and fight that, right? So this comes down to, if you were looking for this trade, you would have been here at 6:30 in the morning. You would have been here an hour ago. You can't go after trades just because you see the charts moving. Get out of that routine of like the shiny object syndrome. You know, a lot of people are treating charts like it's a tennis ball and you're a dog. As soon as you see the chart get thrown up, you're like, oh, I got to do something. I got to do something, because that's what your dog does. Your dog gets excited when you throw them a tennis ball because they see the ball in your hand. When you see the charts move like this, try not to have the same reaction a dog does when they see a tennis ball, because that is going to make you lose. If you wanted this trade, you would have already gotten it. You can't turn around and start looking and saying, well, can I take a buy now? Can I take a sell now? What can I do now? You have to replan the whole entire opportunity. So if you're looking here, this is your 4-hour candle, your hour candles, you're at a major resistance. Yes, this is a good target, but do we think that we're going to just plow through within the next couple hours? Sure, there's a good possibility. We need to then work on the new hour candle. This hour candle that we have currently is stale. It's halfway through. We've seen the move up. It's going to be very difficult to try and find an entry, especially when we see that we just broke into this zone and it's the first candle to break into that zone. So if I'm planning this trade, I'm saying to myself, okay, if we hold this support, I want to see another candle that rejects down and pushes up. But more importantly, I'll look to take entries above the current candle high at that point.
All right, let's take a look at this chart here. This is ooh, GJ, very nice. Let's hope, guys. Well, I hope it reaches your 618 levels. I think that's been pretty good for you. Looking on the 4-hour, actually looking on the 1-hour here as well. Actually, let's take a look on the 4-hour. That is some sort of a rejection area here to the left-hand side. Now we're moving into this above this consolidation support on the 4-hour here to the left. If you look at the left over here, so 4-hour created a support, 4-hour has a resistance, so this is the consolidation area of the 4-hour that we're coming into. And this area is actually, this is 30 pips. Yeah, I think the trade was just a buys on GJ. So I guess if you guys caught this buys, and then I guess you're done for the day here. I took a sell at 134.500. Should I continue to hold? That's up to you. I mean, just know where your stop loss is and just don't make that mistake again. taking sells when price is moving up? Yeah, I don't think so. What are your thoughts on why markets are moving so slow lately? Isn't the economy supposed to be recovering? Well, we had a pretty big move here, so I don't know how markets are moving really slow. We had a nice move here. Did you take one or two separate trades after 6:30 today? I took two trades. My first entries were around, 134, 475, and then it got stopped out on the 15 minute, got stopped out, and then it re-entered at 134, 489, keeping a stop below the previous 15-minute here. Because I still like, believe we will continue moving up, and we did continue to move up. Russia and EU are the main causes of climate change. No, the main cause of climate change is that they are changing climate. The climate is being manipulated, just like the prices are being manipulated here every day. So if you guys believe the climate is being manipulated, we're on the same team. Everyone else who don't think that, or like if you think the Earth is round, you guys can stay on the other side. We're good over here. Thanks for the warm words. I'll definitely learn the proper ropes. Thank you, thank you. How many pips after the re-entry did you see before you moved to break even? Oh, maybe like 10. At 10, I closed. I closed around 134.575, as price came up over here. Are we going to take a third trade today? No, not me. I'm done. I'm happy for what I did today. I'm completely satisfied. Even if I didn't take a trade and I saw this move and I called this move out, I'd still be completely satisfied with it. So, it's like you just have to be satisfied with things you do. And with trades, even like sometimes, guys will take like a small test position and that test position will run. Let's say normally you use like 50-cent lots, so you'll open like a 0.01 just to test it out. It will move. And once it moves, then you're going to enter your regular trade. That still doesn't work because that test position was your one trade. So I know some people do that and you have to snap out of it. You have to snap out of that thinking. But I think this is going to be a really, really good highlight for today. Wow, man, look at that thing. Almost reaching 134.780.
Yeah, I mean it's nearby 135, so
Yeah.
has a
Yeah.
lot of momentum.
Oh, man, a lot of momentum. Like when we started this week, on Sunday, my analysis was we're going to get to 135.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we spoke about it on yesterday.
yeah, I know.
On the details tab in TradingView under watch list. Where is it? Watch list, alerts, data, hot list, calendar. There are no details. Oh, right here. There is no more. Oh, I think these are people's analysis here. Okay. I hope they all had buying analysis. Can we still buy GPJPY? I don't think. I mean, based on the 5 minute, if you're going to take a buy, I mean, it'd be very risky because we already had this big move. But it's GPJPY. You never know. GPJPY is the only pair and gold and US30 that don't care about human life when they're kind of like trending. Let's take a look at this chart here. This is, oh, beautiful. Look at these buys right from the bottom, 134, 140. Do you use same analysis on gold as GJ? Yes. Yes, it's the same analysis. I mean, the way the analysis is done, it's basically just the same. So like, you know, if you're new on the stream and if you want to take full advantage of the stream, you need to share a chart, because when you share a chart, we look at that and we kind of like give you a give some advices. Let's take a look at this. Someone sent their first chart here today. Their first chart is on Euro USD. They're looking for sells for price to continue down. I think if you're looking for sells, you might want to see a 30-minute candle closing bearish or something like that. Wow, looks like your JPY is also coming up towards completion of this move, 121,600. All right, this is US 30 5-minute chart. 5-minute chart. You're looking for buys up above this level. I think you're going to get those buys up above that level. I think I don't trade US 30. I suck at US 30, but I mean, just by looking at it technically, I was looking at the 1 hour and I was like, okay, you know what? Like, it made a support, strong support. The support was also tested, you know, back on the 2nd June after London closed. So I think there might be some sort of retracement going up and then continuing down. So that could make sense. We got another Euro JPY chart coming in. The TP is above. Yeah, I think this is a little bit too optimistic, you know, because essentially you're expecting price to break this resistance and then continue on to the next resistance, right? So I mean, if you can get a runner running in, if you get a price breaking above 121,600, I would say put your price at break even, your position. Because we don't know whether price is going to reject 121,600 or it's going to break through it. So we'll have to wait. But man, I'm very, very happy with this trade. The way GPJPY turned out, I'm extremely pleased.
Yeah, pretty early too.
Gold 30-minute chart, looking for buys all the way up to 1782. Yeah, it makes sense. I think once 30-minute candle is coming up to fill this wick, I think you have enough. Let's take a look here. So since the 1 hour has broken the high of the previous 1 hour, so it should continue moving in bullish. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. 30-minute is also coming up. I think it's pretty good. I think you should move your stops to break even, maybe secure some profits, and then leave a runner running, because essentially it's coming up to this minor resistance at 1778. Can you explain potential daily areas you use for targets on this run up on GJ? My target based on the daily was this wick fill when I came to the stream this morning. This wick fill was my target. And yeah, that's about it. That was my target. But I guess we exceeded that target. Price exceeded that target, so it is what it is. It's funny, I sat down, just finished marking up a chart and reading some news, picked up my coffee, and when I pulled it down, GG was flying already. Oh yeah, see, that happens sometimes. Some people have their hands raised, just letting you know. Who's got their hands raised? Kevon and Uncle Ted. Yeah, they're fired. That's why. That's why they're raising their hands. They're like, hey, hey, like, no, you guys stay in the gulag. No, they just, I think they had their hands raised because it was on mute before. Did you close the trade? Yes, I am in no positions at all. Let's close this. But yeah, I think that was a very good call. That was like a 30 pip call. 30 pip move. How many mangoes do you eat today? 0. Do you have any special preparation for trading, like daily exercise, nutrition, or meditation, or nothing special? Yeah. So basically, I woke up this morning, and my son woke up crying, went downstairs, got him a bottle of milk, changed his diaper, went back downstairs. I chopped up an apple. So this is the apple. This is the half part that's left. I was eating an apple, and then I started marking up my charts. And then I saw price breaking the high over here. Then I'm like, okay, yeah, it makes sense to take buys. And then I basically took buys. So, I mean, if you want to call that like a routine, I mean, yeah. So the secret sauce is changing a diaper and having an apple in the morning. It kind of puts you in the zone. Yeah, you gotta do something to stay in the zone.
I'm gonna start thinking to have another kid then.
Yeah, I have a 9th kid now.
9 kids.
No, Kerwin, no.
Yeah.
Hi, Raja.
Hey.
Yeah, I wanted to share something like from where you took the entry. Can you please go to that chart of 30 minutes? Yeah, I was just thinking like where you took the entry at
it was right here.
Yeah, so you see we crossed the wicks, and I guess why our stop loss got out, because that was some sort of support. So the next candle just came to that support and then went up. If our stop loss would have been little lower, it wouldn't have been stopped. Do you agree?
Yes. So if you look at this wick, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So if we draw a small tiny zone here, and if you go to the 5-minute time frame, let's do some investigation here. So if you go to the 5-minute time frame, this was like a break of this minor resistance. We broke up, and then it was like kind of like a retest. Does this make sense? Yeah, I guess so. Oh, I guess it makes sense. How do I get in the Zoom group? If you find it, you find it. Wish I knew about Forex when my kids weren't sleeping through the night. Yes. It's nice to know you can still trade with a baby in the house. I'm having 2 weeks baby and trying to find time to trade. Yeah, for me, the best time to trade is in the morning because everyone is sleeping. Oh, looks like I need to turn off my notifications. Okay, there we go. Turn them off. Let's take a look at US 30 here. See what's doing. Ooh, still ranging here. US 30 is pretty hard to trade. Oh, thank you. Someone donated 2,900 Colombian pesos. Thank you. I want to earn my freedom in the gulag. Well, I think you'll need to find the Golden Gate. What do you think about this range? Let's take a look at this. Take a look at this range. This range, potential mirroring Euro USD 15-minute coming up towards this area here. Yeah, I think it could work out. I think you need to look at, let's say we look at something smaller. No, actually something bigger. Instead of the 15-minute time frame, let's take a look at the 1 hour. Okay, 1 hour is right here. Maybe this is an area of some sort of a, a rejection, because essentially price basically made a low, right? If you're reading price action, price made a low at 1.12600, and then it continued to go up. So whenever price makes a low, so the low was made after we broke the support, because when price was coming down, it reached this support and then candle broke it, came down, made a low at 1.12600. Now it's coming back up, maybe to do some sort of a retest, to maybe retest the low over here. So let's take a look on the 30-minute chart now. Now the 30-minute made like kind of like a consolidation here, like some sort of a rejection here, and then it fell down. So this may be some sort of an important area, right? So this is now I'm getting some sort of epiphanies over here. This may be some sort of an important area right over here. So if you go down the 15-minute time frame, yeah, so this was some sort of a consolidation here. So see, price came down, it looked left and saw that, okay, my buddies here consolidated here before, so we may want to consolidate here before falling, so it made a low. So I would say if you're looking for buys, you may want to see price closing above this area to look for buys to potentially come up into this zone 1.1300, and this zone is going to be, let's see how far this is, like a 15-20 pip area, so that'll be good. But if you see any rejections forming here, then know that we might continue down to retest the low here. So like, you know, something to keep an eye on. Wow, GJ has reached 134.800. Who would have thought? Oh wow, look at that, man.
Yeah, US 30 took off too.
Yeah, I just saw that. And that's the thing with GJ. Today looks like it's gonna be one of those days that you want to pull back to get in again, and it's not coming back.
Oh man, if you're in sells on GJ right now, you are really playing yourself. Trust me.
Oh yeah,
You'll just stop torturing your trading account. Honestly, man.
Yeah.
If you see a 5-minute candle close bearish and you get a smart idea to take a sell, oh man, I don't even know what to say to that. I don't know, man. That's just a very, very difficult way to trade. This has been the best start to the week in a long time. Oh, I'm glad. I am glad. Raja, when do you want to retire in trading, or just trade for the rest of your life? See now, my trades are for like 15 to 20 minutes, you know. So even if I trade for the next, you know, 2 years, 3 years, I'm starting to, like, you know, move things around. I'm starting to get other things going, so I don't have to trade for the rest of my life, you know. I mean, there are a lot of other avenues you can make money, and I mean you can use money for two things: luxury, or you can use money as a tool to start other things. And I use it to start other things. If you done for the day and you spot a good entry, do you enter? No, because you just said it. If you're done for the day. Let's take a look at your JPY. Ooh, your JPY is coming up towards 121,600. Wow, beautiful. So if you look at GPJPY right now, and if you kind of like scroll all the way to the left, you will see that we are approaching this range zone on the 4-hour, this whole range zone. So this is the top of the range, 135, 134, 134,970, and this is the bottom of a range right over here. And now price is coming in this 30 pip range. How many pips do you target per week? I have no idea. I'm new. What's your profit ratio? I think I'm not gonna try to toot my own horn, but I think I have a 51% win rate. Did you guys anticipate that Brexit news? No, not at all. No one knew that Brexit news will come. Nobody knew. It was just based on technicals, you know. I took a trade based on technicals. Daily was bullish. We had a wick fill, and from what I've seen in the past, that whenever there is a Brexit news, Brexit has always tended to move the pound pairs bullish, you know. And some people were in buys, and lo and behold, you got a Brexit news, and I guess that was a bonus move. Some people who took sells at 134,630, they might say that that was a stop hunt, but I think that was the ignorance you had when you saw prices moving up and you took sells. So
that was the market make.
yeah, this move up was the market maker hunting his stops. Yeah, right. Give me a break, man. What about people in buys? Oh man. market makers saw my price, man. Market makers don't exist. I took a second buy at 134,700. 134,700. And you scared me out of the trade when you said a buy now wasn't good. Oh yeah, absolutely. Absolutely wasn't a good buy. Because think about it this way, right? How many times will price move up like this and you take a buy and it works? Just ask yourself that question. How many times will it work that way? Or how many times when price moves up this way, like from support, moves all the way up over here, and then you take a buy and it doesn't retrace? You know, how many times is that going to happen? So that's why whenever price has already moved up, always look to see where could you, man, in 2018, we used to have Brexit moves all the time. You know, 2018 was like the Sunday market for Brexit moves. And I mean, and I would miss those moves. I would miss those moves and I would always look back and see that, okay, price was consolidating and then price broke out of this consolidation and then we had a Brexit move. I would always look at that. And then I would say, okay, you know what? Someday I will be catching these moves. And then I think after like 2019, May 2019, we started catching those moves, Brexit moves. You know, because I mean, we know Brexit moves price up and after consolidation price moves. So in this case, it moved bullish. We took a buy at the prime entry and then a Brexit move happened. Hey, Mr. Raja, I'm negative 80. I think it's going down. I'm going to hold. Okay, perfect. What's this? Let's take a look at this chart. This is, oh, no labeling on the chart. I believe GJ will hit this with time. Hit what with time? Your yellow line, 135? Oh yeah. Yeah, I think so too. 135 is right there. What is a Brexon move? What do you think about this gold chart? Let's take a look at this. Waiting for another resistance to be formed before taking sells at 1779. Yeah, I think that's a good idea. You're approaching this minor resistance here as well. This area here. You're approaching this area here, so might give you some sort of a rejection in this area. Yeah, if someone tells me I'm taking sells and it's going to go down, there's this TikTok which goes, okay, I believe you. You guys heard that TikTok before?
Yeah.
Okay, I believe you. Yeah, I'm gonna make a TikTok on that later on. Where did you find the Brexit news? I just Googled it and I didn't find them. Yeah, so you go to forexfactory.com and then you click on news and then you're gonna get some Brexit information here. GB's positive drive, warns, direction, pressure, bearish. Ooh, disappear. I wonder what's the better source of where we can find this instead of capital hungry analysis. Let's take a look here. Guy needs capital hungry in his life. Capital hungry. I'm gonna find it. I think it was on let's try daily effects. Oh, I can't find it. I cannot find it.
God damn. Oh man, Raj, you're gonna laugh. I just saw my chart, and all of a sudden, my trade is done. It was closed. So I said to myself, "What the freak? Why the market make it close my trade?" And no, man, it hit my take profit at 900 area.
Oh yeah. Yeah,
So I
that's
got
pretty good.
scared. I was thinking, oh man, the market maker.
Market maker saw me. Um, how long have you been trading? 4 years. I realize that the less I trade, the more profitable I am. Hope some newbie sees this. Oh wow, man, that is absolutely amazing. That is absolutely amazing. The less you trade, the more you make. When I first started, I had this idea of the more I trade, the more I'm gonna make. But that was not true at all. What's this financial juice? Man, people sending me weird links over here. You're gonna take any more trades today? No, no more trades. No more trades today. Just look at this. It's so hard to find a good trade. And when you do find a good trade, you take that trade. Why would you want to jeopardize that good trade with another trade? Why? I don't understand. There's no reason to do that. Your JPY has also came up above 121,620. Can you explain the same again about what to look for entry? Please explain 15-minute as well as 30-minute separate will be much obliged. I already explained it 4 times. I think you need to rewatch the stream. Once this is done, you can rewatch the stream and then you can find that out. Let's take a look at GU over here. People think that it's making a retest. Let's take a look at GU. Candle broke support, so this became like a fake out. This candle break strong 4-hour resistance, waiting for a candle retest. Yep, that makes sense. Makes sense for price to come down to make like a higher low and then move up. Why GJ is less active during Asian session? Because Asian session is a less active session than New York. So this is what's going to happen. If you're trying to be smart and you try to trade New York session and the Asian session, you're going to get really, really, really confused because the New York session has a lot of volume and oh, look at this trade, very nice. And the Asian session has less volume. So then you're going to be confused. You'll be like, well, why does Asian session has less volume and New York has more volume? You know, so the best way to not get confused is to just stick to one session. I think it's going to help you out a lot. If you look on the 4-hour did tap into that, see the top of that resistance there, and now it might start ranging or it might create support down here at 134,600 and we might continue going up. But that's for later on. How do I join the Zoom group? It's my first time to be in this live group. I would like to be part of your group. Yeah, that's Zoom is a members only group. That's all what I'm going to say. Are you planning to take the Euro JPY buy? No, I am not planning to take another trade. I've already taken one trade. Do you think price will retest near 134,600? I think it should because 134,600 was a support made back on 16th June all the way from, Asian market open till pre-London. We made that support and then price broke that support in New York on 17th June. So if price is going to create a support, I think support is going to create at like 134, 670, 650. That's something you can anticipate, right? It's not 100%, but it's kind of like you can anticipate that. We made a high, we might come down to make a support and then retest the high. Or even if that news, Brexit news, it was just a rumor, I think we might, correct this whole move down. That's something we've noticed with the Brexit news as well. The news didn't change anything fundamental, right? Was it only because they're meeting again? Yeah, then I think there would be a probability for price to correct this move if nothing really changed. Once you get a hang of one session, like after a couple of months or even a year, then you can jump onto more than one sessions. Absolutely right. That is absolutely right. After buying the course, do we get weekly breakdown? Agent James, I don't think it's the correct thing for you to do right now. It's difficult to trade any of the volatile sessions because of work, but you really want to trade, what would be your advice? If you really want to trade, I would say look at your daily routine and try to figure out what time you have free in your daily routine. You know, if you have, like, let's say 2 hours free in the evening or in the morning, or if you can make time in the morning. Making time in the morning means waking up early in the morning, right? If you can do that, then you have that time to trade. Then you have to see that, okay, what markets are open at that time. So then you're going to start looking into, like, okay, I have this time to trade and I can only look at the markets at this time. Does this really make sense? Does this fit with my routine, fit with my work schedule and stuff like that? So that's really important.
Raja, do you think we're gonna have a decent push with the 9 a.m. opening on GJ?
On GJ?
Yeah.
Push up?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Are you thinking about it or not?
No, I think 135 is a very strong level here.
Okay. Yeah, because I closed my trade at 900, but now I'm thinking it's only 5 minutes to 8, so maybe we'll get another push. Anyways, I'm not gonna be taking any more positions for today, so I'm done. Not even with US 30. I'm gonna leave it alone.
Yeah, I think this was a very, very, very good move. Thanks to Brexit, we moved further up. Man, there are so many TikToks you can make in trading. There's this one where I just did a bad thing, and I will do it all. Something like that. You know, when you take a sell when price is moving up. I just did a bad thing.
Yeah.
Is 6:30 a.m. Eastern and 8:30 a.m. Eastern a good time to trade? I think that's the worst time to trade. Between 6:30 a.m. Eastern and 8:30 a.m. Eastern. That's at the absolutely worst time to trade. I don't know why I trade here every morning on this time. It's a very good time to trade because, you know, you got pre-New York volume, you got New York open volume, and then you got NYC later on, and then you got London close. I don't know, are these like trick questions?
I think there's a lot of people in this YouTube chat that have not reviewed any other YouTube videos in this channel and should probably go back and do a lot of that work first before coming here. It'll just help them. I think a lot of people that are new to this live stream should be reviewing previous live streams to understand how the live streams work, what's to be expected, how to act appropriately in the live streams, what questions have already been answered, things of that nature. If you can't do that, trading is going to be very difficult for you. And I'm just trying to ease that burden. If you want to slam your head on your desk for most of the day, if you want to punch the air when you make mistakes, if you want to zero out your account, you can do that very easily by just repeating the same sort of interactions that we're having right now with these basic questions. Or you could do yourself a favor, go through some of the previous live streams, get a feel for what's going on, do some research, build up your knowledge base, and then come back to the live stream and be confident in what you're supposed to be doing and not asking very basic questions, because you're just going to get tossed through the market. Consider the market a big sumo wrestler and you're that 100-pound guy that's going to get tossed. You want to build yourself up so you don't get tossed by him, and you don't also want to show up to the sumo match going, I didn't realize that guy was going to be that big. Just try and do a little bit more pre-work before you come to the live sessions. It will definitely help you. And that's not me being arrogant or, trying to, insult you. It's just me trying to guide you, because there's going to be a lot of instances where you're going to have to make decisions on your own with nobody sitting beside you, nobody holding your hand. And if you can't make just simple decisions right now on how to learn effectively in the market, you're just going to get tossed and turned. So really try and implement those kind of practices right now as a person, and understanding critical thinking skills and what you need to do to apply yourself in that nature, so that when you actually come to the test, which is executing live in the market, you're not stumbling, or you're not getting upset or worried, or you're not confident. You actually have all those tools and all those ideas in your head to make sure you give yourself the best advantage you can in the live market. So really, it starts from like people say, it starts at home. It's the same thing with learning how to trade. It starts with just simple practices, simple techniques, simple routines, and then it grows from there. If you can't do the simple things, you're not going to be able to do the difficult things. So really get your core techniques down, and your core learning strategy down, and then grow from there.
I think I once saw a channel summarizing your channel on YouTube. Yes, that is a channel. Oh, wrong chart. Wrong chart. We can't take a look at this. I'm enjoying the simulation session that you uploaded. Can you upload more, please? Oh, I don't think I uploaded anything. Must be an old one. I'm not taking more entries, but for the sake of God, I would love to see a push to 135, 200. Yeah, I think 135, we can say that 135 is going to get hit. 135 is coming in.
So at this point, if you have US 30 buys, you should have your stop loss above break even at this point. There was support created on the 15-minute, it seems, and we should be pushing up through to 26,140. As stated earlier, the rationale behind that is you can see the Dow futures is starting to, the negative is starting to erode. So this is almost like if you were to think about the Dow futures as the negative number starts to drop. So as we go, we started at minus 300, now we're at like minus 1 or minus 200. We've moved 100 points. So what's happening is the stock market is strengthening. So that's giving a little bit of bullish momentum to the actual index itself. So you'll see that's the reason why we're getting bullish momentum, even though we have a negative I guess, pre-market data. This is something as a trader you have to be aware of. So you have to understand, and this is one thing, is if you're trading US 30, is you're always constantly watching the pre-market data to see which direction it's shifting to, right? Because at the end of the day, if it shifts to a full positive, then you may know that you're going to see that US 30 is going to go fully bullish. But also at the same time too, when you look at that, if you had looked at US 30 about an hour and a half ago, it was minus 300. And then you would say, okay, well, we should be looking at sells, which I did dictate earlier. But as the morning's begun, like as the morning has matured, you found that that started to erode, and that's giving the bullish movement. So in as an advanced trader or somebody who's been trading the US 30 index, you can capitalize on that and say, hey, listen, if the futures market is starting to erode in terms of the negative territory that it's in, then chances are if we start to flip bullish, then these candles are going to start to continue to move up, and I can cautiously enter buys on the basis that my bias is the US 30 index should actually go positive, and that will continue to allow the bullish sentiment that we have currently. Now, however, if there's anything that shakes that, you expect the market obviously to go down at that point, but it's something to keep in mind as you're looking at future data. So when people ask, how do we read the futures market? That's a perfect way to read the futures market is, you know, if that data is getting better and we are starting to move into positive territory, then you will have bullish momentum with US 30 at that point.
Let's take a look at this here. Your JPY stops now at break even with a runner. Okay, closes 50%. Do you think 121.800 is too optimistic? I think it's still pretty good. You can still reach there, because if you look at your JPY, we did close about 121.600, and I mean, now technically speaking, it should create some sort of a support area here. Even though your stops are at break even, it should create a support area, and then technically and theoretically it should continue up towards 121.800. You know, so if you've secured profits, you've taken some off the table, I think that would be the next destination for your JPY. Well, we should always buy low and sell high. That is correct. That is absolutely correct. And what that means is when price is trending up, you want to wait for a support to be formed. So that's buying low. And when price is trending down, you're waiting for a resistance to be formed, and that's selling high, you know. And Warren Buffett always said buy low and sell high, and that's what he meant basically. Waiting for the dips and the rallies. Ooh, let's take a look at this chart here. Someone sent a chart. People didn't send many charts today. This is US 30 5-minute. I think I saw this earlier on. Okay, nice one. New support form 26. Yeah, I think it should continue moving to your 26130 here. So technically, whenever a breakout occurs, we should look for retest to enter a continuation trade. Yes, that is absolutely true. But when you're looking at pairs like GPJPY or some like, you know, like high volatile pairs, sometimes there are no retests. So then you have to adapt. And then you have to look at it and say that, okay, if there was no retest, how could I have entered? Oh, how you could have entered the trade. Yeah, I kind of died over there. Those previous live streams are extremely helpful. I enjoyed them and learned a lot. You know what's the crazy part about the live streams? Every live stream is completely different than the previous or any future live streams ever that's going to happen. They're all very, very different. Oh, we got a GJ ID over here. Let's take a look. This is so the next chance of entry could be price break and close above, get some retest. Yes, or you could get price bouncing down over here, like 134, 620, 630. Because we made a high, we're reaching like a resistance, and then it should come down and make support and continue up to retest the high. So, that could be another move. Ooh, what is this? What kind of a chart is this? This is some. I'm going to try to be very nice, but this is some rubbish analysis. There's no analysis. There's no labeling. There's nothing telling us what's going to happen. There's no text. There's absolutely nothing. So sorry. All right, let's take a look here. What is the USD equivalent of 1 pip on 1 lot in US30? I think that's gold. I don't understand the question actually. Yeah, see now there's so waiting around to do. There is so much waiting around right now. Difference between the 500 and the 1400. Agent James. Looks like Agent James did a lot of investigation over here. So, I mean, it's all written on the website. One's an in-person. I mean, I don't even know. I really despise answering any questions related to mentorship or anything like that. You can email or do whatever, but please don't ask them on the live stream. Because I think like talking about mentorships on the live stream, on a free live stream, it goes against the unwritten rules of the live stream. You don't promote any mentorships on the live streams. Unless it's for someone else, like I do that, but I don't necessarily promote my own. Or I don't talk about it. Let's take a look at this chart here. So all the trolls listening right now, you could have came here earlier on and then took buys on GPJPY and had a good day. But no, man. No. I know the trolls are listening right now. They're listening. They're looking for some content to post.
Yeah, they got a lot of content from me yesterday.
Yeah.
Oh shit.
It's awesome because I post something and then 10 minutes later it's posted on their profile. I'm like, got you.
But it's funny because it doesn't matter what you give them, it's not good enough. Like you could turn around and take them to like this is exactly like the Seinfeld episode with Jerry and Banye, where Banye says, "Hey, just give me a dinner and I'll give you the suit." And then they go out to dinner and Banye orders a salad and Jerry's like, "Well, that's your dinner." He's like, "No, I ordered a salad." He's like, "But we're out for dinner." He's like, "Yeah, but this is not my dinner. I didn't want to eat this." But he's like, "Well, that's your choice. You ordered salad at dinner, or the soup or whatever it was." And they argue over that for 10 minutes. It's the same thing with like a troll. It doesn't matter what you give them. It's not enough. And they'll just be like, "No, that's not what I want to see." And it's some like 19 or 20-year-old kid that's just angry at life that's doing this. So that's why I did it's so funny, the like the MyFX book stuff. And it's like, what did you think that like I'm sitting here all day trying to change my numbers around in my account? Like, how stupid is that? Could you imagine? Like, that's the amount of work that we're trying to do. I'm sitting here for like 2 hours in the morning talking to people, trying to help them to trade, and I'm sitting in the background going, well, this is I'm not actually taking these trades. I'm just making them up. Like, I tell people when I'm taking trades versus when I'm not. Like, it's just so funny. And it's like, well, Raja edits his screen. It's like, Raja can't even friggin' use a computer properly. You think he's editing it? Like, what kind of wizardry do people think that we have? Like, could you imagine if I could do all that work? Why would I even be trading? I'd be in like digital and computer programming.
Yeah, it's like I'm trying to fight with the mortgage guys. Oh, we need this now. No, we need this now. And we need this. Now we need this.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's like never ending.
Yeah, it doesn't matter what you tell them. It's not gonna, like, I'm about to get stopped out on US 30, and I'll post the trades afterwards that I got stopped out. They'll be like, yeah, that's not true, and it's like, well, it sort of is, but it's just funny. I mean, I think people are just looking for fault because they have nothing else going for them. But yeah, it's all good.
Ooh, wrong chart. Your thoughts on gold? Yeah, wrong chart. Could I get your opinion? Let's take a look at this. Let's give you the opinion. And the opinion is wrong chart once again. No, actually no, this is the wrong code. Let's see here. Paste. This is GPJPY. Since it's creating a 15-minute resistance at 134,900, stops. Move stop loss to 55 pips profit. Okay, that's good. Wondering stop loss at the level wouldn't be stopped out. Well, you know, it can get stopped out. It can't get stopped out. You know, like the whole idea of putting stops in profits is like saying that if price comes down, this is what I want to secure. You know, so you really have to change the mentality of how you're using stops and profits. You're not using stops and profits to let the price keep running more. You're using stops and profits just to secure that amount. You know, so if you have stops right over here, that means if price comes down here, you're okay with securing those profits. If you have stops down over here, that means you're okay with securing those profits. So that's basically what stops and profits mean. People are really getting anxious about buying Euro JPY. You have to wait for the 15-minute candle. I mean, the 15-minute candle is still bearish. You'd want it to maybe close bullish at least, you know, maybe have it close bullish in your favor before you take a buy, or even wait for the 30-minute to close bullish to take a buy. So, like, you know, that's something waiting you want to do. But if it does continue going up, I think a good stop is going to be like about 121.575, 121.570. But you want candles to go bullish first. Looks like we're going to tap 135 on GJ, and anyone trying to sell GJ, man, I don't even know. I just wish you guys well, because instead of doing these tension-filled trades, man, stress-filled trades, that's what you're doing right now, selling. You're hoping, oh, please come down, please reject. But once price is moving bullish, and you take a buy from like a support or like after breaks consolidation, that's stress-free trading, because you're like, okay, yeah, we're going up. Candles are closing bullish, we're going up. Daily is bullish, 4-hour, everything's bullish. But when everything is bullish and you're trying to take sells, now you're putting some stress in trading. And that's where things go wrong. You start questioning a lot of things. You start questioning a lot of people. You start questioning your own. You even start questioning if this is even possible. You know, and that's a very toxic mindset to go into once that happens. See this? Wrong chart. Again. But can you be part of the Zoom group if you know how to use Google? Maybe. I'm not buying EJ at that point. That's expensive for me. I want to discount first. Perfect. Discount. See that, your JPY? You just gotta wait. We're at this important level here, 121,600, very important key level. You need candles to maybe form support or close above here to continue going up. Where is the TP and entry with EJ? Lisa Calixte. Yeah, there's no entry right now. I think you need to send a chart with your analysis so that we can see what you're looking at. I just watched yesterday's stream and you mentioned that trading two pairs in the same session like GU could it get harder to trade? Do you suggest start trading with other pairs? See, for myself, I like trading a pair that is only influenced by one currency in the session. Like if I'm going to trade, let's say, GBP USD, I'm going to be very cautious in trading GP USD because GP USD is influenced by the US dollar and the pound. But I'm going to be really okay with trading, let's say, GBP JPY because GBP JPY is only influenced by the pound. You know what I'm saying? Oh, wow, look at this. GPUSD kept moving bullish here. Wow, look at that. Great Super Saiyan move over here on GU as well. Thoughts on GU? Someone sent a chart. I'm guessing it will be a wrong chart. Congratulations. Wrong charts are only expected from the gulag. What confirmation would you need to short position on UK x GBP? I'm not sure what that is. Never been to the Netherlands. Nope. Please EJ buy. I'm full margin. Well, I hope it goes up for you if you're full margin on your JPY. Let's take a look on the 30-minute. It's looking good. 15 minutes also trying to flip bullish. I think once it comes up bullish, I think your stops are still going to be at 121.570. And then you're anticipating price to continue moving bullish. Alright, I'm gonna be right back. Right back.
Where you going? Where you going?
Away from you, man.
Oh, can you get me coffee?
So here's a good question. Why do we start trading at 6:30 if the New York Stock Exchange opens at 9:30? Well, so there's a couple of answers to that. The first answer being the currency market opens at 8 a.m. Eastern. And what you're going to find is between 6:30 and 11 a.m. Eastern, we have what we call, I would say the North American and London or European overlap. And that creates the most volume in the market at one time, because we know the London market is very big and we know the North American market is very big. But now you have both markets working at the exact same time. So that's the reason why we start there. Now the New York Stock Exchange opens at 9:30. That creates an influx of volume. The reason for that volume is obviously equities are being traded, but what happens too is people need US dollars to be used to trade US equities, right? You can't use Canadian dollars to trade US equities. So that's why there's an influx of volume that comes in the currency market at 9:30, because as the equity market moves, people are buying and selling currency to support the movements in the equity market. As an example, if the equity market shoots up, so we have the Dow index moving bullish, you're going to find that more people will want to buy the US dollar, so the US dollar inherently gets stronger because of the fact that you need US dollars to buy the various equities that are moving at a bullish pace in the New York Stock Exchange. So that's the reason why we want to trade at this period, because it gives you the most opportunities and the greatest volume. So your trades or the moves that the market makes are a little bit more profound, right? Whereas if you're in the Asian session, or say later on in the North American session in the afternoon, there's not as much volume. So it's a little bit harder to catch the same ideas. It might take longer for those ideas to build out or to develop. Here we can catch what we need in maybe a 5-minute candle or a 15-minute candle and be done with the day. So it's just arbitrarily figuring out where the best opportunities are in the market and attacking those times at that point. Whoa. Hey Ted, what are the best 2 tips in risk management? I think risk management is beyond 2 tips. Risk management and psychology are probably the 2 most underrated things that are discussed in FX. The reason why those 2 items are probably not talked about as much as they should be is because the people that are disseminating information don't have proper education. And that's not a slight at anybody that's trading. You can always say that people don't need a proper education to become a good trader. Just as you don't need proper for different professions, you may not need to go through the traditional way. So I'm not knocking people that don't have the education. But in instances like this, where you have no finance background, you have no psychology background, you've never really done post-secondary education, there are a lot of fundamental things that you're missing in terms of the way that you think and the way that you do analysis. And as you get older, you'll start to realize that there's a bit of a gap there. Risk management is way beyond just saying, well, this is what I want to risk per day. Like I want to risk 1% or 2%, or this is how much I can afford to lose. It's the overall impression you have in terms of your financial stability. A lot of people say, well, I can afford to lose $100. But from a psychological standpoint, you've never lost $100 before, so you don't know what it feels like. And understanding the triggers of what happens inside of you when you're losing money, or the different feelings that you have, anxiety, stress, things of that nature, and how to cope with those really play on those 2 ideas, which is risk management and psychology. So I think when you're looking at risk management, it goes beyond just the set amount of risk per day, but it's your comfort level in terms of your financial situation to make those decisions. Because anyone can say, I'm comfortable losing 1% a day, but the question becomes, well, how do I adjust and how do I grow my account, right? Because there's going to be instances where 1% risk, yes, it protects your account, but what if you need to increase your risk? How do I do that? What's my comfort level there? How can I control my emotion when I do increase my risk or increase my lot size? Like all those things start to come into I guess they coincide with each other, or they become entangled with each other. Your psychology plays a big role in your risk management, right? It doesn't matter if you say I'm going to risk 1% a day if your psychology is off, because as soon as you lose a trade, what you start doing, you start chasing, because you're saying, well, hey, if I lose 1% right now and I go enter another trade, well, if I lose 1% again, then just means tomorrow I won't trade, because that means I lost 1% today and the other 1% would have been applied till tomorrow, right? So people start rationalizing why they're making their decisions instead of sticking to a hard and fast rule. Meanwhile, those hard and fast rules you can't stick to begin with because you're not built mentally to do it. That's the bigger issue, is people aren't mentally built to trade. You're not mentally built as a human to sit and do the same thing over and over again. It's not conducive to the human body. It's not conducive to the human mind. We're not robots. So training yourself in that discipline is the hardest part of trading. Then beyond the money aspect, behind the execution aspect, it's the idea of, can you leave today being up $5 and being satisfied with that, because tomorrow's another day. Chances are 90% of the people here will always flip open the charts and look at another opportunity, or say, hey, I can risk that $5 and make $15, right? There's always going to be that opportunity. It's where do you get your internal discipline from, and where does that stem? And most times internal discipline comes from the nature of the fact that, hey, if I want to be successful at something, I have to maintain a certain profession or a certain discipline around it, but there's outside factors that influence me harder than my own internal discipline, and that's really understanding yourself. So psychology plays a bigger role overall in trading, and that applies over to risk management, because if you have good psychology and you're able to understand yourself and be self-aware, everything else falls in tune. But age comes into that as well, and education level, your home life, your experiences, your relationships with other people, your financial situation, that all affects your psychological makeup. So you have to really dig deep and do a full scale analysis on yourself before you actually start thinking about being a full-time trader or trading trading consistently at that point. So I think there's more to it, and the only reason why it's not discussed in more detail is because a lot of people aren't old enough. They don't have enough life skills or life experience, or even education to pass on that knowledge, right? I mean, you think about people that are teaching how to trade. Everyone always says, well, I dropped out of high school, I dropped out of this, I didn't finish this, I didn't do that. I mean, yeah, it's great that you're successful now, but is that really the route that you want people to take? Why are the most successful hedge funds run by masters in finance? Like, why are we different? Are we able to get to that level that they are? Probably not, because we're not using the same discipline. We're not using the same approach. We're not thinking about what they did to get to where they are. We're worried about what we're doing. So it's really looking at that from an aspect, and taking a step back and removing the ego. If you're in school right now and you're studying finance, there's nothing wrong with that. There's nothing wrong with going to university. There's nothing wrong with going to college and getting that foundation to teach you how to study properly, how to do analysis properly. Forget about even trading. Just in general, if you have to write an essay, how to formulate thoughts. People don't even know how to do that anymore. I read people's questions, or I read what people write in the chats. It's not even complete sentences, right? So like, we've lost a lot of just the basic education, and then you're trying to trade in the markets. Like, come on, let's be realistic. If you want to excel, you have to excel in all aspects of your life. You can't just turn around and say, well, I'm going to be a good trader and I'm going to suck at everything else. You got to be good at everything else. Like, it's just part of your makeup. It's part of your DNA that if you're going to achieve, you're going to overachieve in everything that you want to do. And you have to strive to be the best, and you have to give yourself the most opportunities. US 30 making a small move down. Well, I mean, once again, it's all related to the current futures market, and the pre-market data now has dropped, right? So pre-market data, we were at minus 200, now we're at minus 220. So there's a fluctuation there. So you have to be very careful. And I said that earlier on at the beginning of the stream, is these kind of numbers where we battle back and forth. If we see these kind of moves going, back and forth, it's going to be a very heavily range day for US 30. Because of that, we don't have a strong bias in one way or another, right? 200 points down or up isn't really a strong bias for the index. We want to see something into the 300s, the 400s, the 500s, because then we have a strong bias. So what I would suggest is people wait till 9:30 and see where the actual players in the market want to push this index. If they're looking to recover it, so we go into positive territory, or if they're going to push it more into a negative territory. So just be very cautious right now with the current negative number with the US index, because it's ranging between 190 to like 240, and that's going to really push US 30 up or down in 5-minute candles. So it's going to be very tough to trade.
Let's see if GJ, let's see if GJ drops. Yeah, I think a drop will come. I mean, we've reached this is like the top of the range over here. But for sells, I'm not sure for sells. One candle doesn't really tell you that price is going to drop. Do you have any insight or experience in how US tech market moves in terms of volatility? And I don't. Looks like your JPY also didn't really formulate that push up. If you see the candles were still closing all bearish. It didn't really formulate those buys. You think the best trade is to sell or buy the pullback on GJ? I think it's going to be buying the pullback. That's going to be a better trade, because you have a resistance down here at 134.630, so it's going to be much easier to buy if it forms a support. But at the same time, if someone's looking for sells, you're looking for this candle to kind of like break the low of the previous one, and maybe like close even below it to look for potential sells. But since price is moving bullish, I'd say a safer one would be to wait for a support forming and then taking a buy. That would be much safer, and there's going to be much more planning involved there too. This one here, this sell would be like an impulse sell that you're taking much aggressive, I mean actually very aggressive, so it's going to be a little tricky. Meet me in the mall, it's going down. I think that's a song, right? Meet me in the mall, it's going down. We're going downtown, straight to the LA. Boom, boom, boom. Should come down. Your JPY also seems like it did a fake out to the upside. See, this was your previous resistance, 121.600. We popped out from there. We popped right back in. So this candle should now continue moving bearish. But if it forms support, I think if a support is formed around like NYC open or even like London close, we should see price moving bullish. If it closes bullish, we will have a bearish 1 hour candle at resistance. TP would be 134.600, but we never know where it will create support. What do you think? Yeah, I think that's true. We will never know where it will form support unless the fact that, okay, if it does move, we have this 19 pip range where it can move into. So that's correct. Do you think EJ will drop down to 121.490? 121.490, yeah, for sure. It definitely has the possibility to come down to 121.490, definitely, unless it doesn't form a support. Because if it forms a support, then there's a very high chance it may continue moving up. Because whenever price is moving up, and if you have a move down after a big move up, that move down is just a retracement for price to continue moving bullish, if the trend is going to continue bullish. So that's why trading the trend gets really easy, but at the same time it gets really hard too, because now you got to wait a little bit more. 282 pound profit. Oh, very nice. Beautiful. I made profits today too. Yesterday I had a break-even day, So, sometimes you have break-even days and sometimes you have profit days. I need your help avoiding this mistake I always make. I don't know how to get out of the habit. I don't like going in drawdown. Well, I guess if you don't like going in drawdown, that means you haven't accepted the risk you want to take. Whenever you're trying to take a trade and you're placing a stop loss, when you place a stop loss, this means you are accepting the loss. If price hits your stop loss, you're accepting whatever you're trying to lose over there. So that's very important. Always accept what you're trying to lose. Because when you accept what you're trying to lose, then the trade becomes stress-free. Because in your mind, you've already accepted that loss. Let's take a look at this chart. USD CAD moving up, first TP over here, second TP above the resistance. Yeah, so far it looks good. So far it does look good. Do you think EJ could possibly start ranging between 600 and 480? 600 and 480? Yep, that could also happen. Anything can happen. Anything can happen. When you're kind of like visualizing trades, you're visualizing the best possible outcome. And the best possible outcome, let's say for your JPY, would be that, okay, we had resistance here, price broke up, this closed back inside. So even if price does come down and if it forms support, the best outcome would be for price to continue moving up. That would be the best possible outcome for myself. If I was still looking for trades, that's something I would look out for. But if the best possible outcome doesn't come about, then there's obviously no trade for you, right? There's a mental hurdle with achievement possible. No, achievement because achieving comes with more responsibility. More responsibility means more sacrifice, and sacrifice is difficult with instant gratification at our fingers. That is absolutely true. That also means, when you're trying to take trades without confirmations, or you're trying to take trades when price is not moving in your favor and you're taking the opposite trade. I mean, people who were taking sells, a better sell would have been once this candle broke the low over here. That would have been a much, much better sell. That would have been a well-planned, thought-out sell. But once you're selling as price is moving up, man, that's dangerous. That is dangerous. Alex Alvarez said 20 minutes till our new 4-hour candle closed. Thank you so much, man. We didn't know that. Now we know that. Thank you. I was...
Man. Oh, brother.
Only because it's Alex.
Jesus Christ.
Just sitting there, just having a good time.
Consider that.
Forex Jesus.
Yo, guys, there's 20 minutes left for the 4-hour close, okay? Okay, perfect.
And then you just hear in the back.
Okay, tell me more.
What time is the 30-minute close?
I love the Forex Jesus comment. That's perfect.
Yeah, it's Forex Jesus.
Forex Jesus.
I'm loving this live trading. Just my first day here. Oh, welcome to your first day at the best live stream here in the world. I welcome all my children here to the camp.
Yeah, this is the number one. This is the number one worldwide. I think you should put that on your stories, Raja, to really incite people. Say we're the largest worldwide streaming between 6:30 and 9:30
for free.
For free, yeah. You could say that. I think it's a valid thing. I don't think anyone's doing as large of a live stream that you are doing between 6:30 and 9:30 from Canada, from like the Ontario region, with Forex. So I think that's a valid statement.
Yeah, I think it's very true.
You'd be surprised. I want to see all the messages you get afterwards. That's not true. You're lying. You can't be the biggest. Well, technically he is. Between 6:30 and 9:30, he's the biggest.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm just looking at it right now. There are a bunch of other streams running, like 15, 36 people watching. Bloomberg is, well, Bloomberg is financial. They have like 2,900.
Non-professional. Add that then as well.
Yeah, non-professional.
Yeah, non-professional, corporate. Yeah, there you go.
With no gimmicks.
That's right. No gimmicks.
Yeah, this is where, things really start getting a little boring because now you gotta wait a little bit more for price to form and move and stuff like that. So we had a lot of action in pre-New York. How big was this move? This was a 47, 48 pip move. Wow. When is the Lambo giveaway? Probably we'll have to think about that.
Now remember, the Lambo comes without the insurance. So if you're asking for a Lambo, make sure you have enough money to pay for the insurance.
Oh yeah, that's true. That's true. We'll give away the Lambo, but then you have to pay the insurance.
And the gas.
And maintenance, which is
Oh yeah.
pain in the ass.
A brake job on a Lambo or Ferrari is like $10,000.
Yeah.
To change the oil, I think it was on a Lamborghini or Ferrari, to change the oil is like a few $1,000s. But you could do it yourself. It's just very difficult. But when you actually bring it to the dealership, it's like a few $1,000s just to do an oil change.
My buddy, he has a Lambo, and I asked him about the oil change. Actually, so I asked him the same. I told him that I normally change my own oil, and then he's like, yeah, I could do that too, but then the screws, there's specialty screws. You can't find a screwdriver to match those screws.
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So you can't change it on your own
Holy
because
shit.
you can't find that screwdriver to open it. So you have to take it in.
Wow. I thought you could, because I saw on YouTube, because I looked up that, because I couldn't believe that it was that expensive to do an oil change, and I figured someone on YouTube would have already done it, and I thought people had tried to do an oil change on their own with a Lambo or a Ferrari.
Yeah.
But
if you can open the screws, then you can change them.
yeah, that's the thing though too. I mean, I sort of look. When I got my Porsche, I bought the maintenance package. It was $4,000 for 4 years. I bought the maintenance package because it works out. It basically gives me 25% off overall because you have yearly maintenance that you have to do on the car, and it ends up being like $1,500 for like oil changes and like the fluid stuff and everything like that. So if you buy it in advance, you get like a 25% discount. So I figured, hey, I'm gonna have the car for a few years, so I might as well do that. But yeah, it was the same thing. It was a shock to me too when the oil change for a Porsche is like it's pretty expensive as well. Not to the same degree, but compared to like a Mr. Lube, like $50 oil change, it's like it was ridiculous. Yeah. So.
And how much is a brake job for the Cayenne?
I haven't priced it out yet. I hope I don't have to do one for a while.
Okay.
But yeah, I have the bigger brakes as well. So those bigger brakes, that's the problem. See, like, excuse me, when you buy all these things for your car that are aesthetically pleasing, like bigger rims, bigger brakes, all that stuff, man, the maintenance just skyrockets and you don't realize. Like, I mean, I've got 22-inch wheels on my truck, and I've got the bigger brakes because that's what I wanted. And it's just like, then you look at the breakdown for like the cost of doing servicing, and you're like, oh man, why did I do this? I could have just the smaller brakes and it would have been normal. But you know, it's you forget all that stuff because Porsche has different levels of brakes. They have like obviously ceramic coated, and then they also have their regular brakes and things like that. So as you go up there, yeah, it's a little bit more expensive. But I mean, that's the biggest thing when you purchase a vehicle. It's not the purchase of the vehicle that costs the most, it's the maintenance, right? Like anyone can buy a Lambo or a Ferrari, but it's like, man, you got to do the maintenance on it. That's what's killer, right? So you just got to be careful. Like that's why I always tell a lot of people is like, don't just look at buying a car because you can afford the price. Look at also the maintenance behind it as well. You want to be able to put yourself, like, don't want to put yourself in the poorhouse trying to do maintenance on a car.
Yeah, man, that's the thing.
I mean, that's why I have a Tesla, because there's no maintenance. So I'm a cheap ass.
Oh, look at that GJ. GJ is just breaking hearts here today. Breaking zones and breaking hearts.
Yep.
Porsche brakes are optional. Oh yeah, you just don't use brakes at all.
Oh, come on.
Oh, braking is optional in life, man. Just like a stop loss. A stop loss? No, man, it's optional. I don't need to use the stuff. Obviously, that's a joke. Someone's gonna take this seriously. How you maintain the Tesla? You just charge it.
Yeah, there's no maintenance on Tesla. It's actually really good.
There's no engine, there's no oil.
Yeah, I think the most work I've had to do was I have to get the leather seats lubricated when they move because when you get in the car automatically, like when you open the door and you sit down, the car automatically shifts your seat to where you were originally. It has like a preset function, and then it shifts back when you put the car in park, so you can get out of the car. It's called easy access. But then the lubrication runs out on the tracks for the oil or for the leather seats as it moves through the electronic track, and then so I had to get that lubricated. Yeah.
So like those memory seats, right?
Yeah.
How do they work? Do they record your weight? What if you lose weight?
It's based on your key fob. So my key fob is attached to me, so everything's coded in that key fob. So as soon as I get in the car, it automatically adjusts for me, and then when I put it in park, it automatically goes back to a neutral position.
Okay.
But then I can add more settings, right? So there's like multiple settings. So like if you drove my car, you could make your own setting, and then it would automatically go to yours. Like it's on the touch screen. You can have like multiple drivers.
Yeah, because my brother bought the Benz and he has these numbers.
Yes.
You press number 1, number 2, number 3.
Yeah, the Porsche has the 3 numbers on the side there as well. Yeah. I like that. I liked. Is it was a C class that he got?
C class, yeah.
Yeah, those are nice cars. I like Mercedes interior. They've really made a big change. You know what looks really nice now? The Lincoln Navigator, the new one. Have you seen that?
Oh man, that's
man,
that's
Jesus
like a luxury
Christ,
spaceship.
Yeah, I know. I looked at it. My buddy has one. My buddy has a brand new one. When we go play poker together, he's a businessman, and it was getting detailed beside my car because when we go play poker, it's the detail shop takes our cars and go get some detailed. So we were standing there, and man, when that thing opens up from the side, you're just like, what the hell is this?
that's in a spaceship.
Yeah.
This one, right? The new one?
Yes. The brand new one with the doors that open up like crazy.
This is super luxury, this car.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's very, very nice.
Yeah, I mean, look at that space inside.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah,
one,
it's
two,
amazing.
three.
I saw the Cadillac Escalade like a week ago. The
Yeah.
brand new, the 2021. Man, that's an spaceship. But I like the Lincoln Navigator interior better.
Yeah. Well, I think either one. If you get an Escalator, you get a Navigator. I think you're doing well. They're both. They've really pushed the envelope with the interiors.
How much are these things? Almost like
I think-
100,000.
Yeah, I think they're close. I think they're up there, but I don't know if they're.
The Lincoln, well, in Canadian dollars, should be around 110,000.
Okay.
Because right here is $90,000.
Oh,
Ah,
okay,
okay.
okay, yeah.
Oh yeah, so it's up there for us then.
110, 108. This is a true boss car. Lincoln and the Escalades. First time when I saw the Escalade, I saw its two lights at the back. Those red lights, they popped up red. I'm like, wow, man.
Yeah.
Yeah, pretty nice.
I think if I get a security detail, that's the car I'll buy them.
I'll be your driver.
Yeah. Get a security detail and then we can drive around in those cars.
So your GPY is still stuck over here. GJ is still not showing any signs of sells. So the sells are not here on GJ. Back in the day, I used to lose a lot of trades, and those trades I would lose were basically I would miss this move up. I would basically miss this move up, and then I would try to take sells before any confirmations, or I would try to take buys over here when it would be at a resistance, and then maybe price would start consolidating, and I'd be stuck in consolidation range, and then I'd lose and win, and by the time I'd be done, I'd look at my history and I'd be like, man, I took these trades and I just lost the whole day. I just lost, and then I start to look at it. Okay, I lost over here. Maybe this was a better trade to take. So I would always look back and see how could I have. I mean, if I could get $1 for every time I say, how could I have taken the trade, or how could I have done certain things, man, I wouldn't have to trade because I say it so many times. Like a lot of times when people take trades to take losses, they're like, hey bro, I took this loss, man. Like, I don't know what to do, man. I took this loss. Okay, that's fine. You took that loss. But then you have to think about how could you have taken the opposite trade? What could you have seen that would have told you that, okay, maybe I could have taken this trade and I wouldn't have taken the loss. So now what you've done is now you've learned something, and now you're taking that new learning experience into the next day. So then you no longer say, yeah, go ahead, Stephanos.
Dude, months ago, I would have. If you look at my journal, you would see that I would have taken this sell right here as the 15-minute close bearish, and then the other one was pushing bearish. Before the candle closed, I would have taken that sell right there, and I would have lost. I would have gotten stopped out. But just like you're saying, you sit back and you watch these trades play out, and you start to realize, like, okay, I could have caught this, I could have caught that. Probably shouldn't take that. Probably shouldn't call tops or bottoms. It's just evolution. You get better with experience, and that's what it's all about. A lot of these people are missing a lot of trades. I still miss trades every now and then, of course. But you're gonna, if you journal, you're gonna quickly see that, all right, I could be taking these trades now. You're gonna get more confident.
Yeah, I missed them too sometimes. Most times. Like yesterday I missed a trade and I had a break-even day, and it is what it is. Like, okay, let's take a look at yesterday here. So yesterday was it was
Right over here. To the left.
Yeah, right away. Yeah, this was yesterday right here. This was yesterday right here. My positions got stopped out at break even, and one ended up in the loss, and then price went up. And price went up. I never even thought about taking a buy. I was like, okay, this was my move. Move already ended, and I didn't. I took the trade, and I lost, even though my analysis was correct. But that doesn't mean I'm a bad trader because I managed my risk. My risk was very small, and like I maintained my risk. I missed the trade. I'm like, okay, because this is gonna happen over and over again. And then this morning, same thing happened. Same thing happened. Price started to move up, and then I was like, okay, I'm gonna do the same thing I did yesterday. I did the same thing, and look what happened. We won the trade.
Yeah.
You know,
I think a lot of newer traders have the problem where the move already happened. Ted talks about this all the time. He actually talks about it today. Don't chase the move. Don't go for if you see the move happening and a lot of volume and a couple candles, and it's just like pushing, that was the move of the session. It's not really going to move that much, and you have high probability of losing the trade if you try to jump in. Very high probability. So just stay patient. Don't get FOMO, and you'll have more opportunity tomorrow.
Yeah, that's true. I guess the hardest thing is to actually wait for the next day. That's the hardest thing. Cause bro, like, okay, a lot of people are at home right now. They're just watching the charts, and if they miss a move, they have all this time to watch the charts. The hardest thing is to just stand up and just walk away. That's the hardest thing to do.
Absolutely.
So,
I backtest.
oh, okay, okay. So instead of
Instead of staying on the live charts, I'll go over to soft FX, and that alleviates. Like if I feel like I got FOMO, like I just missed the move, I'm like, damn, I just missed that. I'll go over to soft FX and do a session or two, and that one builds experience, but two, you're not trading live. You're not wasting any of your money. You're not being stupid.
yeah, that's true. Yeah, that's most important. You're not being stupid.
Exactly.
And with that last thought that we're not being stupid, we're gonna end the stream right now because I have some things to do, like every day.
All right, brother.
Thank you for showing up, everybody.
All right, take care.
Take care.
Take care, everyone.
Bye.
Bye. Goodbye. Hey, goodbye. Oh, let's check this last chart. Come on, man.
What?
This is why Zoom turns into gulag and then start removing people. Can't even draw a genital properly. All right, let's end the gulag here first.